Today, we're gonna look at the cost of living in Kitchener-Waterloo. We're gonna delve into everything. I'm gonna break down housing, food costs, gym memberships, and everything you can think of, even down to the price of a bottle of wine at a restaurant. In this particular video, I'm gonna break it down as if we were a new couple to Canada with young, educated, good jobs, and you're looking for a lifestyle that's somewhat mid-tier. Let's get started with the most expensive cost that you're gonna encounter: rent. Here in Kitchener, a one-bedroom rental usually goes for between $1,700 and $1,800. There's multiple properties available right now for lease, especially in downtown Kitchener in the core there, and it gives you a great sense of what it's like to live in Kitchener, as you have lots of amenities close by within that proximity, as well as you have the LRT line and the GO train, which goes directly to Toronto if you ever do need to go there. Also, you're gonna need tenant insurance whenever you lease a place. Usually it's around $30 a month. In terms of utility bills, it's gonna vary depending on how large the unit is. In this case, if we're looking between $1,700 and $1,800 a month in downtown Kitchener, I would budget between $100 and $150 for utilities, as many times within the condo fees, you only have to pay electricity and heating. And of course, you're gonna need home internet. You can't live off the grid quite yet. You're gonna have to live on the grid. That's gonna run you about $60 to $100 a month, and usually that's either with Rogers or Bell. There are some other low-cost carriers where you can get for a lot less, but at times they are a bit shoddy. So I would budget between $60 and $100 with Rogers or Bell. Also, within the housing costs, you're gonna have to watch TV or at least have a streaming service. So I'd budget for $10, $15 a month, depending on what you're gonna need, up to about $50 a month. So in this category, $50 a month for various plans like your Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, etc. Let's get into the second most expensive cost that you're gonna encounter is your groceries and your food. For a couple, I would bank on spending about $700 a month in terms of groceries. For your average quick meal on the go, I would budget for about $15 a meal. This will include, burgers, fries, and a drink, or a sandwich and a salad, something of that sort at a lower cost end restaurant. If you're going out for dinner, I would at least budget for $50 a person, and this does not include alcohol. In Canada in general, alcohol seems to be very expensive compared to most other countries around the world. And in Kitchener, I would budget for $45 for a bottle of wine on the lower end at a mid-tier or higher tier restaurant here in Kitchener-Waterloo. And of course, you're either gonna need to walk, bike, bus, or drive. I'll break it down here in the transportation category. The cost of transportation varies. A monthly pass can be had for $90 a month. A single ride, one way, will be $3.50. And there's also an affordable transit program, which is about half the price of the $90 pass. Obviously, it'll have to be below the maximum income, either based on one person or two people. I will link it in the description below, the affordable transit program with the GRT, the Grand River Transit, which we use here in the region with Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge. Maybe you don't want to take the bus, maybe you don't want to walk. You're going to want to buy maybe a car. So cars do vary in price depending on what you're gonna want. You can buy a BMW, you can buy a Honda, or you can buy a beater that frankly isn't worth driving. But in this case, let's just take it for, let's say, your normal average vehicle, Honda Accord, Toyota Camry, something of that sort. I would budget for about $140 a month in terms of the insurance rate. That seems to be fair. Obviously, this can vary based upon your driving record. In terms of fuel, you're probably gonna need about $165 a month if you do drive between 15 to 16,000 kilometers a year, which was the average last year in the province of Ontario. So $165 a month for gas. In regards to maintenance, I would budget $80 a month for maintenance costs, as this is the average. If you look at a multiple amount of websites, it's about $1,000 a year for maintenance costs on your average vehicle. The total cost to run a vehicle here is about $375 a month. And of course, this is not taking into consideration the financing on the vehicle, because obviously this can vary greatly. If you're liking this video and you want to do anything that's real estate related here in the Waterloo region, please fill out the first link in the description. Let's get back to the video. And obviously you're gonna need a cell phone plan. This is a given. I would budget about $70 a month plus the financing of your phone. A $70 a month plan, you're gonna get 10 to 20 gigs of data, which should be sufficient for the average user. Or you can go to a lower tier like Fido, Freedom, or Virgin Mobile. They tend to have lower cost plans. Your more expensive ones will be Rogers and Bell, and they're more geared towards families. Also, I'll be making a video dedicated to what the cost of living is for a family. If you want to be kept up to date and notified when that video does come live, please hit the subscribe button and like the video. If you'd like a talk and text plan, that's going to cost you about 32 bucks a month, but you're probably going to need data because who can live without it? And finally, you're going to want to stay in shape. So gym membership can vary quite a bit. Obviously, you have your lower tier gyms, your mid-tier gyms, and your higher tier gyms. Your lower tier gyms here will be your very basic stuff like Planet Fitness, Crunch Fitness. This is to be had around $10 to $20 a month. They're very basic gyms. Now, mid-tier gyms, you're gonna look at places like Good Life Fitness, which is gonna run you between $50 and $70 a month. And of course, you'll have your high-tier gyms like Movati Athletic. Movati Athletic is an incredible gym. If you're going to the gym and you're gonna use it quite often, $100 a month I think is great. I was a member there, incredible gym. They have a sauna, they have pools, they have classes. The equipment is nearly new. The location is great on the western side of the city on Iron Needles Boulevard, which is right between the end of Kitchener and the beginning of Waterloo there. So it's easy access as well. It's close to the expressway. And then I'll highlight clothing. Clothing I don't really have a price for, as it can vary quite a bit depending on what kind of designer brands you want. Or are you going to shop at Walmart, or are you going to shop at Gucci or Versace, something of that sort. But typically what I find is pricing in Canada in regards to clothes is actually quite cheap compared to most other Western countries. Like for instance, in the EU, the European Union, you're usually paying more for clothes. Reason being is the VAT, or the value added tax, is usually more than 13%, which in Canada, in Ontario in particular, is 13%. Places like Portugal and Spain, you're gonna paying 23, 22% VAT. I know in other countries, you're gonna be paying closer to 30%. As well, many of the Europeans wear European brands and they have European made products. As well, that's going to cost you more money because the labor costs are more expensive, the energy and the raw materials. Another difference between Canada and Europe is the energy prices per kilowatt hour when it comes to electricity is far cheaper than most countries in Europe. Even in countries like Portugal and Spain. Portugal, for example, is about double the price per kilowatt hour that it is in Canada. Obviously, you're going to use less electricity there to heat your home as opposed to here. But I would keep that into consideration. As well as gasoline prices in Europe are far more expensive than they are here in Canada. Right now, a liter of gas, as of the recording of this video, is about $1.35 per liter. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to be kept to date with everything Waterloo region real estate related, please click the like button and subscribe.